episode of Author Interviews with Jazz and Prose. I'm your host, Sai, and today we are here with the beautiful Miss Diamond Key, okay, for her book, Complications of a Troubled Heart. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you, Sai? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm good. I tried to beat the weather. I don't know. Where are you at? Where are you located? I'm in Houston.
I'm in Maryland.
You're in Maryland. Okay.
Yeah,
what's the weather
like
out there?
Rainy and cold.
Rainy. Yeah, because I saw that in somewhere they had a tornado.
Yeah, like, not here, but yeah, it's like the Virginia area.
Yeah. Okay, well, we are definitely happy to have you here today. So Complications of a Troubled Heart. I love the cover.
Thank you. I designed it.
You designed it?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. So you write and you do art, which is great because Jazz. Say that again.
I had someone design the cover. They said, "What would you like?" And I said, "Well, it's about a black girl, that just like life, Diamond Key is like a fictional character of me." And I was like, she fell in love with two people. So I was like, I want them, she's holding her husband's hand, but yet she's looking toward the other man.
I think a lot of people go through that. Enough. Oh my God. Okay, well, I love the cover. Sometimes I struggle like with my books, like, do I want like the real people, or like a cartoon? Because I love cartoons. So I really love this. And they are both handsome, so I understand her plight,
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Just do a little introduction. So can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your background, just being a writer.
Okay. Well, my name is Keisha, aka Diamond Key. I grew up in Howard County. I had 3 grown kids, 2 girls and a boy. I have 2 grandkids, 1 of each.
Grandma?
Yeah, I'm a grandma.
Oh my God, you look 25.
My oldest daughter is 35.
Oh my gosh. Well, you look good, Diamond Key. It's the diamond. Okay.
I'll tell you why the Diamond Key came up also. I started writing when I was young. I just had a wild imagination, and I was like, when I needed something to do, I started writing. So I started keeping journals.
Yeah.
That's how it became a passion.
Yeah, I love that. So genres. What genre is this book that you have?
This is an exotic, an erotic adult drama.
Okay, so we got some scenes.
Yeah, so it's like realistic sceneries.
Yeah.
Just relatable scenarios that could happen.
Yeah.
Life happens.
It does. It happens sometimes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I love that. So how many books do you have out already?
I have 2 books on Amazon.
Okay.
But I've written 10.
Okay, wow. So you're just debating whether or not you want to
I'm trying to get them out. So it's time. It's like takes money to put them out. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, wow. Okay. And so the 2 books that you have out, are they like the same genre type, or is it one like completely
Complications of a Troubled Heart is more like a older girl.
Okay.
She's based. And then the second one, Adventures in Deception, she's younger.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm all over the place.
No, listen, I totally get it. I do children's book, but then I have this background you can't see. I literally have a mystery thriller that I've been working on for like almost 10 years. So I totally get it. But that's the beauty of being creative and like,
yes. I'm all over the place. I do adult, I do children's, I'm working on poetry. I'm up there doing scripts. I wrote 2 scripts. Yeah. So I'm trying to trying to be my own boss.
Yeah, I get it. And you have to do it. What is her name? Is it Shonda Rhimes? Because the Grey's Anatomy and all that.
Yes.
So yeah, we could do it. If she could do it, we could do it.
Right.
Yeah. So okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, next slide. So book specific questions. So go ahead and tell us about your latest book, Complications of a Troubled Heart. So
okay. The girl Nakia, she falls in love. Her and her best friend Allison go on a trip. She falls in love with this guy named Raphael, Spanish guy. And, years later, they're still, still together in love. And then, he starts acting funny. So she's trying to make a name for herself. She's a lawyer. So as she starts getting a new boss, things happen. The husband is not there doing things. So she starts turning toward the boss. Things happen. And, as she starts, having feelings for him, but she doesn't want to, she starts finding those secrets about her husband. So it's a whirlwind of she has to, come to herself that, does she want to, confront her husband about these rumors or turn to her boss that, she doesn't really want to be with because she loves her husband still. But as the secrets start coming out, she starts thinking that her husband's not the person that she really thought he was. But there's plots in there.
Wow. So, okay. Because you can, and that, wow. Yeah. Okay.
And this one has this book has 3 books to it. So the second book that's what I'm working on now.
Okay. So did you end it on a cliffhanger?
Okay. A juicy one.
Oh Lord. Oh my God. Okay. So with that being said, did we have inspiration for the plot for this, or was it just like a, completely random?
Some of it was like from real drama that I was going through, but mostly it was what I thought about, and like in an imagination of like, what else could happen? So then my imagination started playing games. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then I was like, make the readers any more interesting. So that's where the plots and the twists come in.
Yeah, I love that. I'm already intrigued. So what part? You say that again?
I said, whatever you think's gonna happen, you be like, oh, I didn't see that happening. Like,
So it's okay. A lot of twists and turns. Yeah. I love books like that too, because as a writer, a lot of the times I'm like, because I write, I can kind of guess what's gonna happen next. So I love when I'm like surprised and I didn't see it coming. I love that. Do you think you had a part that was kind of challenging for you writing this book, or did it flow naturally?
Somewhat. The first couple of chapters started flowing naturally. I had trouble with some of the scenarios because I was like, I don't know how this would, I didn't want to make it too erotic.
Yeah.
In case a teenager wanted to read it. So I put in some words that what's going to what's happening, but not in so much detail.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not like very explicit.
Yeah, it's not like Zane. Not this one anyway.
Zane. Very descriptive.
Yes.
So, do you have a favorite scene or chapter, and why? And you don't remember I don't want you to do your spoilers, but do you have?
Chapter 5. She has a fairy tale wedding. The wedding of her dreams, because he proposes. She doesn't think that he's going to propose to her because they're together for a lot of years before he even proposes. And and at that time she was pregnant with.
Okay.
So it was like a fairy tale wedding. The carriage and everything was like a fairy tale.
Wow. And that was your favorite one?
Yes.
Okay. And was it your favorite one because you enjoyed writing that part, or do you think it just turned out so beautifully? Or I guess maybe that's both.
Because as I was writing it, I would look at different pictures of weddings. And I would I became that character. So I did it as I was seeing it. And it turned out beautifully. And I was like, whoa, I didn't realize I could have that much imagination, but I do.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Oh, this is a good one. So how did you develop your characters, and are they based on real people? I know you kind of touched and said like the main character, or is it Diamond Key? I don't know if you said Diamond Key or
Nikki, my characters, I basically looked up names in a baby book.
Oh, okay.
And I thought about a character, how I wanted them to look, and then I was like, I have to find a name that fits that character. So I picked them up by baby names.
Okay, nice. And then as far as like, because I know some authors really go deep into character development. Like I was watching one interview and the author was like, I think he was a professor and he taught people, he taught a writing class. And he was saying like when he develops his characters, push them to the wall, like based on like this type of person. If we know that, for example, this is a nun, right? What would she do in this situation? Like if she met like a person who was sinning like crazy, like putting them in conflicting situations. I just think for me, and the book that I've been working on for like almost 10 years, the character development, because I don't know, for me, I just want it to be perfect, but we'll digress there with me. But do you do research on the like the type of character that you want to create first, or does it just come naturally?
It just comes naturally.
It just comes naturally. Wow, that's good. Okay. And I'm sure that probably save you a lot of time too. I think let me see what the next slide is. Writing and so what was your writing process? So like from the idea you had in your head to actually typing it out, or maybe you wrote it. Do you type or do you write on paper?
I write it in my computer.
Okay. And then do you do like an outline first, or do you just come up with like
actually no. I didn't with this one. I thought about not with this one, but usually if I want to be my second one, I did do a descriptive of the characters, but I later on did go back and did a narrative with my characters in it.
Nice. Okay. And then the second one says, do you follow a strict writing routine, or do you just write when inspiration strikes? So do you have to be in the mood? Because I have to be in the mood to write, and I know that's bad, but
I don't sleep well at night, so usually if I don't sleep, then I'm on my computer
typing. Okay, so you're very disciplined. Okay, I need to get like you. Okay,
I try to be.
Yeah, and see, for me, I'm a teacher, so like, and I teach reading and writing. So sometimes it's like I just want to break from reading and writing.
Right. I get it,
but at the same time, it's like I have goals to get this out. Okay, so did you go the traditional publishing route, or did you self-publish, and did you have a reason why you chose which one?
With the Complications of a Troubled Heart, I went through Lee's Press.
Okay.
I went through them because at that time, actually I was thinking about I really didn't know if I really wanted to publish it.
Yeah.
Until after my mom passed last year. And my mom was always my biggest advocate, talking about a good book doesn't get read if it's not published. So after I published it, started looking at different places to get it published, it came out what would have been my mom's birthday that following year.
Oh my God. First of all, condolences, and I'm sorry, but I know she is so proud of you for putting it out there. Sometimes, that motivation. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's so beautiful.
Yep.
And then what would you say, did you have a big lesson when you learned when publishing this book? Like, do you have any aha moments?
Yeah. When I let them edit it, it took more time. So now as I'm writing, I start editing myself.
Okay.
It takes time. Yeah, because I wouldn't edit it. And then I was like, I could do the editing myself. So then that way it'll be easy for them to go through just like that.
Yeah.
It was a lot of trial and error with this first book. I was like, I could have did this and saved myself time instead of, pulling my hair, like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It was times
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not writing anymore. But then I was like, I came this far. I can't stop now.
Yeah. Very driven. I love that. Okay. And yeah, on our webinar that we had last week, we had an editor that was in there, and she talked about that, about, making sure you kind of go through and before you send it. But yeah, editing and revising can be brutal. I think it was Miss T.
Yes.
She said, I think it's brutal. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. Okay, let's see what we have next. Ooh, it's not trivia time yet. Okay, so advice for aspiring authors. So if you want to pick a question, or if you want to do all of it, it's totally up to you.
I'm cool.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so what advice would you give to someone who wants to write a book but doesn't know just where to start?
I would tell them to do an outline first. Get your characters written down. Mm-hmm. So then that way, as you're writing the characters down, you can get a scenario. A lot of times, I realized that when I did outlines, it became quicker, even though I had the idea in my head. But once you see the characters, you start picking out different scenarios. You're like, ooh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. So I would say do an outline and do your characters. So then that way, as you looking at your characters, you can start doing different scenarios in your head. And then how you're going to stop it if you want to do a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I agree. I love outlines. I really do. Let's see. Writer's block. Now, do you get writer's block?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I do. So, because sometimes I find myself, I'll be writing on one, and then I'll be like, I'm tired of writing on this one. Then I'll start writing on another one.
Yeah.
Because I have like 3 or 4 different books in my head at a time, and then I'll start thinking about it. I'm like, oh, let me start writing on that, and then I got different. I can write down a lot on this one. Or if it's gotten to that point that I don't want to do it, I'll listen to some music, some jazz, or I'll listen to the rain, and I'll have me a glass of wine, maybe a bottle of wine, and I'll chill out for that night. And then I'll be like, I'll pick it up in the morning.
Ooh, to that bottle of wine.
So yeah.
Yeah, I understand. For me, like I said, I need to get disciplined. But I do have writer's block. And for me, not with so my little book, like I just did a children's book, and it's like maybe 12, 10, like it's not a really big, for that, I don't get writer's block. But for like my book that took like almost 10 years, because I don't know if you're this type of person. For me, that book came from a place, and I'm not in that place anymore. So it's very hard for me to get back into that world. But at the same time, I have some of those characters who pop in my head every once in a while. Like, come on now, we gotta, and I think of something, I might be watching something, and I'll be like, oh my God, my character would,
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, writer's block it can be a thing.
Yes.
Okay, I think we're good to go to our trivia time.
Trivia, yes.
Okay. So we're gonna get okay, so this is the author's edition, Would You Rather? Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna have you pick a number.
Let's do 4.
4. Okay, so let's see what question 4. I'm gonna skip 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is such a good question. So it says, would you rather be stuck in your book setting for a year or hang out with your villain for a day? So even if you don't have a villain, but just like the antagonist, like the one who people would say is like, the bad one. So stuck in the setting for a year or hang out with the one who's the bad one for a day.
I think I would like to hang out with the villain.
Okay, you want to hang out with the villain. Okay, so in either Complications of Heart, or what's the title of your other book?
Adventures in Deception.
Okay. That's a good title. So why would you rather spend a day with the villain versus the other option?
The reason why I would spend a day with the villain is because my villain, even though he, has bad tendencies, and I do have a villain,
okay,
in my stories. However, they have a kind of a sweet side to them, and they know how to party.
Okay, all right, places. And then they know you're the author, so maybe they will go take it a little easy.
Yes.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so this is our final slide here. So for closing and future plans, so what is next for you? So I know you said you have a couple of other books that you're working on. Do you have one that I don't know. You got a couple and you say you dibble and dabble. So what is next for you, Author Diamond Key?
I'm working on a poems book because I like to write poems. Okay, so nice. In high school, my cousins and other friends, they was like, Can you write me a poem? Can you write me a poem? So when they would go to their classes, they were like, this is a very good poem. And then the teacher was like, oh, tell Keisha this was good. And I'd be like, oh. So they knew it was they already knew. So I'm trying to I'm working on a book of poems now, but I'd like to do a special children's book for my grandkids. So because my granddaughter loves to read, and so my granddaughter's getting ready to be 10, and my grandson's getting ready to be 16.
Okay, wow.
So I want to do something special with them, so then that way they can be like, oh, that's me.
Yes. I've done that twice. With the first coloring book I put out was my oldest daughter, and then the last book I did is for my youngest son at the park because he's learning how to read. But yes, and it was so cute because for the dedication page I put his name there, and he's learning how to read. It's an early read, so when he saw his name, he was like,
that's what I want them to do.
Yeah, so cute. Okay, so where can readers find your book and connect with you?
You can find me on Instagram, Author Diamond Key, Facebook. Those are my main two. But I'm also on Trends, also LinkedIn. So I'm everywhere. Wherever you can think of, where my books are on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, Kindle, Walmart and Target, 36,000 platforms.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's lovely. So we'll definitely have that in the description box, guys, where you can go and find Diamond Key's book. And then do you have any final words of encouragement for our fellow writers?
My thing is, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. And we always say, never let anyone say that, put everything off for one day, because you never know. If you keep on putting it off, it's not going to work. And then we are our own worst enemy.
Clock it. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh my God. Well, this has been so lovely, Author Diamond Key. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out Complications of a Troubled Heart. You can find the description in the description box where you can find it. Make sure you follow her. Well, we thank you so much for joining us, Diamond Key. And when you finish that poetry book or the second book for this, definitely come back so we can chat.
I will be there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.